it's Uppity Unicorn. I want to begin by giving a shout out to shows, style, and spirit. Girl, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have half the news. I'm telling you, I cannot sit through Wanda talking by herself. There are so many people on Instagram I do not follow. I do not catch their live streams, and I'm second, third, and fourth in line when it comes to discussing what they're talking about. So, speaking of being a little bit late, this video is going to be concerning Wanda, Marceau, and naughty pictures. However, you like to call those things. Give me 1 minute. However, you like to call those things. You can call them nudes, you can call it texting, sexting, whatever you like. You know, in the last video, I discussed how Carlos giving people spiritual advice is like Wanda giving someone, advice on, organic chemistry or a bioengineering, how to start a bioengineering company. It just really doesn't make sense. And of course, we have the same thing going on with Wanda, where she wants to give women advice about how to carry themselves and how to treat their bodies. And I'm just like, you were 14, 15 years old when you became a mother. Allegedly, you and Tisha are super close in age because you were a child having a child. It ain't a throwback mama from the 60s, 70s. It ain't a throwback teen mama from the 70s or 80s that can tell me anything about how to handle my body. It ain't a teen pregnancy scare having person who can tell me anything about how to respect my body as a temper, right? I know she meant to say temple, but as a temper. And I'm just like, I'm never really too hard. Wanda is truly a person that I dismiss. And I say that because, and I very much apologize to people who I've offended. Sometimes my extracurricular hobby of diving through the DSM-5, like, I don't have a psychology degree. I've had psychology classes. Those two things are not the same. Okay. But Wanda gives me a person who has a date with dementia, like a very serious impending case of dementia in her near future. This is a person who demonstrates an intellectual disability, like a person who can't seem to think very well, who can't seem to reason, who can't seem to be a logical person, who speaks in circles and in corkscrews and all manner of mush. So I'm listening at this mushmouth woman, via show styles and spirit again. I can never be a person who goes and records Wanda on a live. Shout out to the people who do. You bring back the news, you break it up with your own voice and your own commentary, and that makes it a lot easier as a pill to swallow for me. But Wanda is doing this dance where she's looking down on women who have sent nudes, and in particular, this woman who did this with Marsau. And I suppose this woman exchanged so many nude photos with Marceau that he finally took the bait. And again, these are allegations. But allegedly, he finally took the bait and propositioned her to have a threesome with another woman, and she got upset. And some people are alleging that she was just like, well, I already came in knowing I had to share you with Letitia. I'm not about to share you with all manner of other people. Like, I'm going to go on ahead and protect my pH balance. Smelling good and feeling good down there means something to me, and I am going to have to pass. And so Wanda comes about and says, all you did was embarrass yourself. All you did was humiliate yourself. And I'm just like, she has no idea. I mean, and a lot of the people who watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, uh, they're of a noble age, they're 55 and older, and maybe she can appeal to them and the culture that they came up with. But younger Gen X on down, like, we don't have pick me logic. We don't have patriarchy princess logic. where we're looking at a woman who is sending nudes to a man and in this cyber relationship or in an over the phone relationship, and to the point where they like, we don't have those, oh, you just embarrassed yourself. We don't have the moken stuff. We don't have the, he's mine, you made, I had him once but I got him all the time. Like that is a joke to us. That's a joke to us. You're bragging about having a man who willingly, happily, and for no reason just steps out on you because he's got an itch to scratch. There's no falling apart of your relationship. Y'all are not separated. Y'all are not in a sexless marriage. It just steps in and out. So here's what I would say as a person who is not a pick me, who was a person who was not a patriarchy princess. That woman absolutely did expose Marcel. Allegedly, she absolutely exposed that man with what he was accepting from her. And we all know about the big booty picture that he hearted. And you can't just heart a photo. Like he hearted it on Instagram. The heart was on Instagram. It wasn't just like from iPhone to iPhone, here's a heart. So it's not like she sent him a photo and no, you were scrolling down her profile, bro. Like, but anyhow, there's already that thing that came out, and we see these messages where Marcel was like, "Thank you for sponsoring my morning. Thank you for sponsoring my morning." Every time he got some nudies from this woman, and my thing is, Wanda says this woman is making fun of herself and exposing herself and denigrating herself. And I say she's absolutely exposing the fact that Marceau has no boundaries when it comes to his marriage. He has no wherewithal. He has no, this is a closed door. This is a boundary. This is a no-no. This is out of bounds. You can't do this with me because I'm married to Letitia Moore Scott. The fact that she can even send you those news, like, because why haven't you blocked her? You have that in your power. If you're so married and you're so not a cheater and you're so all these lofty things that you lie about on Love and Marriage Huntsville, you can just block that woman. And poof, there's no more nudes coming your way. But for you to be engaging and in these conversations and month after month after month to the point where you trust her enough to proposition her with a threesome with another woman, that is absolutely exposure. And no, that's not just her exposing herself. Granted, she did. Granted, she, really it's her story to tell. And if she wants to tell it, she can. I've got no feelings about that one way or another, but if she wants to tell that story, she can. But just looking at the evidence here and listening at Wanda, it's like, who really, who can hang on the words that come out of her mouth when they are so slippery? Y'all young girls, it seemed like y'all ain't got no parents. I'm sorry, aren't you a teen mom? Excuse me? Aren't you a teen mom? Y'all young girls don't know how to treat your body like a temper. Aren't you a teen mom who had a kid out of wedlock? Ain't that who you are? Aren't you the same woman who bragged about having a husband and a boyfriend at the same time? Isn't that who you are? Yeah, baby. I got a husband and a boyfriend. Yeah, baby. That's how I do it. Yeah, I'm from Bessemer. Uh-huh. That part right there. Like, isn't that you? Like, you don't have any moral footing to be telling a woman what to do with her body when we see how you failed with yours. When we see how you failed with yours. Part of the reason you're always up in Tisha's business, part of the reason you're always competing with Mel like she's a peer is because there really isn't very much of an age gap. Even you and Kimmy are 5 years apart. Young mother, young mother. Who are you to sit on high and tell anybody how to navigate their private parts? It's just, even if it was the right message, oh my God, wrong messenger. Wrong messenger by far. And my thing is, you can be an advisor who's made mistakes. Sometimes advisors who have made the mistake they're trying to get you to avoid are the best advisors you could have. However, they don't sit on high and act holier than thou and talk down at you the way Wanda does. And I'm just like, Wanda, you are physically and spiritually short. You can't afford to talk down to anybody. You don't have a peer group that can look up to you. You are spiritually, mentally, and physically short. Damn near a dwarf. I mean, go you can go look at pictures of her and see how tall she is or is not. And I'm just like, that physical body that you're encapsulated in, like that is also where you are mentally. That is also where you are spiritually. Like you are no Lord Tyrion Lannister from the damn Game of Thrones. Like that's not you. You can't be the hand of the king and the advisor to the queen. Like that's not you. And again, some of us, we have advisors who failed at everything. And because they went through the hell, because they met rock bottom, they can tell you how to avoid rock bottom. But these people do so from a place of humility. These people do so from a place of compassion. They don't do so from a place of, oh, I'm on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'm Letitia's mom and Marcel Scott's, mother-in-law. And I've been on this number one show on OWN. And I'm gonna, y'all girls, y'all must not got no parents. And y'all girls, y'all must be, y'all don't know how to respect your, don't you know your body is your temper? Did you know? As a teen mom, did you know? As a statistic, did you know? And my thing is, whoever this woman is, chances are she's somewhere in her early 30s, late 20s. This is a grown woman making grown decisions with her body. And clearly she knew what she was doing because she knew that this man, married or not, would take the bait. She knew that this man would take the bait. And who knows, maybe she went into this plotting to plotting this exposure the entire time. But the fact that you're engaging, the fact that you're going back and forth, the fact that you want more and more explicit photos, the fact that you're even engaged in this and you're like, oh, I'm not a cheater and I'm devoted to my wife and we've never experienced infidelity and Letitia likes to slam her marriage in everybody else's face. Your engagement, that is exposure. And that woman isn't just exposing herself, she's exposing you too. And of course, a person who is exposing another person, like you have to be able to tell the truth with unflinching integrity. So you do have to tell on yourself. You do have to tell, once upon a time in the beginning, there was, like you have to go through all of that. So yeah, you have to tell your part and their part. That's just how it goes when you want to deliver a credible story. You don't do too much editing when you want to deliver a credible story. And as far as what I've heard, again, I don't watch the original Straight No Chaser. I have a problem with people who treat intimate child abuse, grooming by adult men, and whatever else. I have a problem with people who treat that like it's tea. So just me, I have a moral aversion to it. I can't do it. I absolutely have a breakdown there. And all I have is a barrier, a big firewall for people who do that kind of thing. Okay. So I didn't watch it, but I did notice that Wanda was mighty meek. She was mighty meek when it came to how she was responding to to Nay from the original Straight No Chaser. I mean, we all saw her hop on Kiki, hop on her parentage, hop on her birth, her damn conception. Your mama didn't want you. You were supposed to be in a shin, like just gave it to her, laid it on thick. The way she went at Mel, we got the choppers, like basically threatening to shoot her. you know and then she has this, I'm not worried about Nay or whatever she got to say. I'm like, because you're a coward. Because really, if you're really like that, it's same energy, same energy. It's not that you've matured, it's not that you've grown. You're not changing at this point in your life. You are over the hill. You are on the decline because, I mean, you can tell one is a person who doesn't take care of their brain. Let's say somebody like my mom, she does lots of puzzles, lots of crosswords, lots of, whatever she can do to sharpen her mind so that she stays sharp. She does brain activities just like you would do activities at a gym to make your body fit. There are things that you can do to make your mind fit. And like I said earlier, like Wanda just gives, I have a definite date. I have a pending date with dementia. You just kind of see the regression happening in her. And I'm not, penalizing her for that or looking down on her for that, but like when it comes to her character, personality, the her resume as a human being, I dismiss her. Like Wanda couldn't tell me anything about anything, even if she knew about it. She knows a lot about chitlin dressing. She likes to make it. I wouldn't go to her to make chitlin dressing, even though she makes it for all her little family, whatever it is. She wanted to do that for a food truck. I wouldn't go to her. If I wanted to make chitlin dressing, I would absolutely go to somebody else just because I dismiss her as a person in totality. I couldn't take her seriously on a witness stand. I couldn't take her seriously in any kind of group setting, one-on-one setting. Like I would just because everything that she says is a total contradiction. Nothing means anything. Nothing is sacred. She's a lot like Carlos. Nothing is sacred. There's not a boundary anywhere. She talks about people's dead mamas all the time and got on the internet and cried about somebody talking about, her deceased mama. And I'm like, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If you can do it, they can do it back. And now you're surprised, like people just weren't supposed to open their mouth because you're 60 something. Like it would be one thing if you were an elder. We respect our elders, but you're an older. And that's totally different. You're the same jackass at 65 that you were at 16. You've not changed. The same confused ass teen mama rubbing her ear and sucking her thumb throughout Bessemer, like the person said on the live stream who was like, yeah, I knew Wanda way back when. She used to walk around sucking her thumb and rubbing her ear. I'm like, that level of stimming and self-soothing, it tells me something. It's one thing when you do that when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but when you're a teenager, I used to know a boy. I grew up sucking my 2 middle fingers. Okay. I had cousins who sucked their thumb. There was a boy in our neighborhood who sucked his whole hand, his entire hand. And every time we saw him, he had his hand in his mouth until, like, I don't know, maybe his arm hurt and he would take it out and there'd be all this saliva in between his fingers as he moved them, like it was almost like a web. Wanda's sucking her thumb and rubbing her ear throughout Bessemer as she walks around. I'm like, that tells me a little something about you developmentally. That you were all the way this old with a period, with a menstrual cycle, sexually active, and this is still what you're doing throughout the Bessemer projects, allegedly, according to a person on a panel who seemed to know Wanda and Bessemer very well. This happened months ago. I don't remember which panel it happened on, but it happened, and I'm quoting. So again, like I just feel like she's really detached from the audience that she's seeking, especially when she is seeking millimeters. Like even the older millimeters, even the boomer millimeters, like they are reformed women. They are women who are ahead of the curve in their generation. They are women who broke that whole patriarchy, my man, my man, my man, and anything for a man, and whatever, if a man can tie his shoe and smiles and has all his teeth in his head, that's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man, Savannah. You know, these are the women who broke away from that. Just like Mel is a symbol of change, these women were also changed in their generations. That is the real pull and the real lure of Mel. She didn't have the everyday situation. She didn't have to sit around and be Kimmy with a man who doesn't love her or respects her and just married her because she was convenient. She doesn't have to sit around and be Letitia and be absolutely walked on and absolutely mentally abused. I was watching Bet You Know Now, and she said the sole reason she stopped watching Love and Marriage Huntsville is because she felt like watching Letitia and Marsau interact was like watching a quote unquote normal person take advantage of a person with special needs. And that violated her in her righteousness and her compassion and her decency, so much so she couldn't stand to watch the show. I'm closing out here. This doesn't have to be longer than a 20-minute video. What do y'all think? I have trouble thinking any woman with a degree feels how Wanda feels, unless she's just insecure, jealous, like not a girl's girl, kind of a patriarchy princess, pick me something, Bonetta, Barbara D builder, building a man. And like, who thinks that? Like, oh, you're just exposing yourself. She absolutely exposed them both. The fact that you're even engaging and carrying on with this woman, it says enough. Y'all let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. I'm Uppity, and I'm out of here.